Welcome to Survivor NSFW. And Jonny, oh my God, this is a very monumental podcast that we are doing. Now, before we go to the big announcement, which is awesome, I have not been a part of this the whole time. This has gone through 3 different hosts, and I know some people are co-hosts, whatever you want to call it. There's been jokes around to see if it can continue going on, or will Matt Bischoff vanish from the face of the earth and do a podcast with Cochrane? That is not the case, everybody. We love our loyal listeners, and we are so stoked, Jonny. What comes after 90-fucking-9?
After 99 comes the number 100. We are keeping it 100. This is the 100th episode of Survivor NSFW. Pop your champagne, pop your sparkling grape juice, pop your beer, your root beer, your ginger beer. I got it.
Yeah, buddy.
Godfather Carl, you said do it. I got it right here in my hand. I know Matt Bischoff has his beer in his hand. You know, if you had to put money, I see the PBR. if you had to put money 20 years ago on does Jonny Fairplay see the age of 40, that could have been an easy money bet. And I'm not talking about making it to 40. But an even easier bet would have been, does Jonny Fairplay make it to 100 episodes of a podcast every single week? The answer is fuck no. There's no way. No way in hell, or Vince McMahon would say, no way in hell. Dude, but no.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that, you would be able to do it. I mean, here's the thing, man. In life, okay, everyone gets excited about the new thing. So when I've been in bands, or then BMX stuff, or I'm in another band, or I'm doing this, and that's just life's natural progression. So to stick with something, the longevity, especially with a podcast, because this is not Jonny Fairplay has been doing this 100 consecutive podcasts. This is the 100th one. This isn't big time money in your pocket or my pocket or the previous co-host pocket. This has been a labor of love, Jonny, for you. I know you originally started this, podcast because, leading up to this Legend season, which is not going to happen, and just kind of your love of the game. And I started listening.
It was, the first part's correct. I started a podcast because if there was a fan vote for season 40, quote unquote, Legends, then I felt that there was an entire demographic who wasn't familiar with the greatness of Jonny Fairplay. And I wanted to expose that audience to that character, and hopefully they would like him, and maybe they wouldn't. I mean, we're not the number one podcast of anything. Mm-hmm. Well, I take that back. We are the number one unauthorized podcast. Sorry, it's a fact. Yeah. So we're the only podcast according to CBS that's unauthorized. So as I say, I don't care if you're friends with them, not friends with you. They don't care about anyone else but us not using their fucking name. So right. So why the not love? I don't get it, but it's okay. I love not being authorized. That means I can say the F word and it's okay, and you can say the F word and it's okay, and you can listen at home and say the F word and it's okay. Just try not to do it with your kids there. That's the good thing. So, but that was part one. Part two, I wanted to sell T-shirts. I mean, I thought that I had some clever ideas for some T-shirts. Strong social game, challenge monster. Trust me, I'm a sex doctor, and hidden immunity idol with an arrow pointed down to your ding dong. If that wasn't good enough to sell some shirts, I didn't know it was. And so, hey, here was a platform to sell some T-shirts. But now, fast forward a little bit. The love is there, Matt. You're right. I do love the game of Survivor. I always have. I might not have known it at certain times, but I know now more than ever. And especially watching tonight's episode, there's a part towards the end of this episode. There's some words exchanged, some quotes said, and I felt it, and I do love Survivor almost more than anything on the planet. So, but thank you, Matt. No, you were not here for all 100. But you've been here for a large chunk, and actually you've probably been here for more than 100 if you count the Patreon stuff we do. For those of you that...
if you guys count the fucking what was that show, Big Brother Celebrity Edition?
We did 800 podcasts on that.
God, well,
no, actually the Big Brother stuff counts in the 100, so that's how we got to 100, I think.
Okay.
But on the Patreon, the Castaway Watch Along does not count here, and in our weekly Q&A. And so for everyone that's been here since the beginning or just started listening last week, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And Matt, I know that you like the people, if not as much as me, probably even more.
I love everybody and all of our patrons and all of our audience and supporters of this podcast. I mean, when I came on board, I had been listening to your podcast. Not since the very beginning, but I had been listening prior to being on the podcast with you. And man, joining the podcast, this is just now something that I do. It's part of like what, my week is planned out. I do band stuff and kid stuff and all kinds of different stuff. And the podcast is a big part of it. And again, this, for me, it wasn't making t-shirts. This was I want to do a podcast because it's kind of like a bucket list thing. I've never done a podcast. I've done video stuff and all kinds of stuff, but a podcast was something I had not done. So now I really enjoyed doing it. And then we started the patron group, and we got our patrons that we do the Q&As with. And if you are interested in seeing the video version of our weekly podcast and all of the extra stuff Jonny was talking about, the watch-alongs, the Q&As, the different other content, because we are going to be doing Amazing Race content. We're not sure the exact details and times when it's going to drop, but we're working through that. So Amazing Race and The Bachelorette. So stay tuned for all that stuff. Just check Jonny's social media, my social media, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the next 100, because when it's 200, hopefully I'll still be on the podcast with you.
You're here. You're not going anywhere.
So but I'm excited, and it's cool. So we toward the end of this podcast, we are going to have some very special messages. So be sure to stick around till the end of a lot of survivors that are kind of giving us a shout out on the 100th deal. So you want to make sure to watch the video, because there's videos that were sent in. We'll also put the audio on this, so never fear. But Jonny, before we get into the episode from tonight, which was a double tribal council night, 2 tribal councils went down, a lot to cover in the 40-something minutes of the show. Tell the people where you are going to be next week and for the finale.
Next week, that's April 24th. I will be in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm going to be at Zany's Comedy Club. This is one of the world famous stage. Some of the greatest comedians of all time have been on that stage. How I'm going to be there, I have no clue. But I will be joined by Taj George, lead singer of SWV. She's a Grammy Award winner. You may remember her from Survivor, Token Chins. I'm also going to be joined by Donathan from Survivor, Ghost Island. Figgy from Gen X versus Millennials, and for VIP only, she has an early curfew, but I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. Survivor OG Season 1, Gretchen from Survivor Borneo will be joining us for the VIP part. So if you've been on the fence, do I want to go? Do I want to go VIP? Listen. Come check us out. VIP starts at 5:30 p.m. next Wednesday. We're going to be in Nashville. To get tickets, go to survivorafterhours.com. That's survivorafterhours.com. And the following Wednesday, May 1st, I'm going to be in Santa Monica, California. First time I've been on the West Coast in years. And I'm going to be joined at Busby's West in Santa Monica. That's Busby's West Santa Monica, California. I'll be joined by Survivor Nicaragua winner Fabio is going to be there. Rhino from Pearl Islands, Nina Porsche from Worlds Apart, and Jay from Millennials versus Gen X. So tickets to that event for Wednesday, May 1st are available at SurvivorTix.com. That's SurvivorTix.com. And one last thing before we get to the episode, if you don't mind, each and every episode here of the Survivor NSFW podcast and all of our live shows are sponsored by Buff. Buff is the perfect head garment for running, hiking, biking, cycling, fishing, and more. Whether I'm on the marathon trails or surviving a cyclone, I always have my Buff, and get yours at buffusa.com. That's buffusa.com, the official sponsor of the Survivor NSFW podcast, going 100 episodes strong.
Right on, Johnny. So, tonight, night 23, Survivor Edge of Extinction. David wasted his immunity idol last tribal, and he basically comes out and saying, you know what, I use my idol, but screw it, I don't care. Like, it is what it is.
He says wasted amongst the chaos, and I think those are smart words, because with so much craziness going on, and you hear this, a lot of it could be lip service, a lot of it could be theatrics for the sake of theatrics. It's like, hey, look at these shiny keys over here, look at these shiny keys. Don't worry about your idol. Don't worry about you. You're safe. Look at all this commotion over here. This is what's happening, and maybe that's all a lie. Maybe it's all a facade. So you go with your gut, it's the tale of two cities. This city right here, on night 23, David feels like, hey, I'm in jeopardy. It's time to play it. We're going to play it. Versus night, 26, 27, Kelly Whitworth, she's like, I think I'm okay.
Well, here's what going back to the tribal council, okay? I've seen a lot of chatter and different stuff pop up on Facebook about this live tribal, okay? And there's some people that like it, and there's a lot of people that don't like it. And
whoa. Before you go any further, I don't know why you're discussing this. I don't even know why we're discussing this further. I went into great detail last week with Wendell and Bryce in a crystal clear audio version of the show.
We want to apologize. The 99th episode was a clusterfuck. It was probably the worst. Like, put it this way, for
the
those,
worst episode, worst podcast.
And we were getting it sorted out. It was literally, don't think we're dumb at it. It is what it is, and I didn't have any good audio at all to work with. So I just
anything that could have gone wrong last Wednesday night did go wrong. If you're a patron and you listened to last week's Q&A, I mean, it was a 20-minute discussion just on every fucking bad thing that happened last Wednesday night. I apologize to each and every one of you. I made an executive decision to like Matt and I could have re-recorded later that night, but I didn't know it was as bad as it was, and I didn't want to take away the experience of Bryce and Wendell there. I thought it was more audible than it was.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. Johnny just said I didn't think it was as bad as it was, even though I think I probably said, Johnny, I would not personally listen to this pile of shit.
Yes,
it's unlistenable. But that obviously wasn't enough.
Wasn't. Well, no, whatever you sent me to listen to. I don't even know if it was whatever. There was patrons still in attendance at the event.
It's hard,
and
dude.
We went outside, and I'm just like, is this audible? And he was just like, it could be worse. He goes, I think it's listenable, and I'm like, okay. And then the next day, I get a message. He goes, man, it sounds a lot worse today than it did last night. And I'm like,
But yeah, that was a one-off. I promise you that's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
So,
and going forward to Nashville, I just spent a few $100s in equipment, extra, there's whatever catastrophic event is thrown at me, I think I can maneuver enough well, not even enough, more than enough that it's going to sound just like this, with the exception of people cheering and laughing and having a good time in the background, but not taking away from the quality of this. And right before we started this podcast, talking with my manager out in Los Angeles, and he already has the audio worked out for Busby's West, May 1st in Santa Monica.
Cool. But so back to the just real we can
go.
The live tribals, man. Yeah. It's like when I played Caramoan, you were not allowed to do that, right?
You don't leave a seat.
No. It's like strict rules. And being the first time that I played, I was like a rule follower. Like, dude, I don't want to like get in trouble. I don't want to risk anything, blah, 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 blah. I'm wondering, looking back, if in the middle of tribal council, if I would have just got up and walked over, what would they have done? Would they have kept cameras rolling, or would a live tribal happen then? I don't know. Because now it seems to be so chaotic when you're in the situation like David, who may not have played his idol if you had your strategy on lockdown prior to going to tribal council, but then shit's haywire. You don't know who's saying what, and someone could make, people are crying, Julie's freaking out, and so he played his idol. And I think, I don't know, man, like on one hand, it is entertaining because you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. But for me, Jonny, the kind of crazy tribal council that I actually like better than this live tribal stuff was the example when we did the live event in Cincinnati and Hot Cop Dan played his idol, Carl played the idol nullifier. Bam, that was what I like.
I felt that was great. Like it was advertised last week as possibly the craziest tribal council of all time. I don't think it was. No. I go back to the double idol play on Heroes Villains. Mm-hmm. I think was crazier, and going back to David versus Goliath with the idol nullifier.
Right.
So I felt those were crazier. What was that, an epic tribal council? And it was one of those that wasn't, that maybe not epic that night, and we look back in retrospect, in 5 years, was it? I think we look back in retrospect and say this season wasn't a great season.
No,
that's just personal opinion.
No, I agree.
But I don't hate it. I mean, it's no one world. It's no. I mean, like it's far from the worst. But I don't think we put this in a great season category.
No, I agree.
It has gotten better.
It has, and there's some great characters. So this is nothing against. It's just the season. I think the Edge of Extinction, dude. Like, I just want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
The first couple Edge of Extinction, deals when Keith was like praying to Jesus about it, and Reams, she's kind of freaking out on Edge of Extinction, and the battle of
for me is still the highlight of Edge of Extinction.
But overall, dude, I'm not into it. I find like tonight, it's like, I don't want to skip and spoil anything, but I just was like, what is the point? Like at this, I'm just like, I'm not even. It's pointless to me.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I mean, like I think they came up with the concept, and they're just like, hey, and then we'll do this, and we'll do this, and we'll do this. I'm sorry, but I am going on record, and I'm telling anyone that'll listen, especially the powers that be, I'm sorry, but if you're voted out day 3, you do not deserve a voice in whether I deserve $1 million.
Right.
You don't.
I agree.
You didn't play the fucking game with me. You don't know.
Right. I know. I'm not into it. I mean,
and for the record, as I said, Ream is the highlight of Edge of Extinction. It's nothing against Ream personally. Mm-hmm. Anyone voted out day 3 does not have a right to decide who wins the $1 million.
Yep. I'm in 100% agreement of that statement. So, Edge of Extinction,
and also, like, not only should you not get out of your seat, like, just fucking sit, like, work your fucking strategy before you fucking get to tribal, okay? So, whatever. I mean, like, it has, like, there's been a couple, like, Game Changers was kind of fun, but, I'm kind of, but if you're on the jury, sit there, shut the fuck up, and it's not about you. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about one person, probably more than any other, who decided to play nice tonight. But I was fucking really over that person last week.
Are you talking about Aubrey?
I am.
Yes. Yep. No, I hear you. So we see War Dog and
It's not about you, you know. The
right.
fucking it's you're voted out.
Yep.
Just sit there and fucking watch, and don't make your fuck. I mean, like, you know, like I get, like someone says, you know, like, but like it that was guys, don't forget about it. Like, we forgot. Stop.
Well, all I know is, you know, David wasted his idol, blah, blah, blah. But War Dog and Ron, they start talking about how Aurora completely blew up the game, like at that live tribal. Like Aurora kind of, maybe she said too much that she shouldn't have. But Aurora seems to be at this point kind of on the chopping block, if you will.
Real quick before we go past it. Okay, so I felt from what they showed, and there was probably, well, not possibly, there was plenty more that wasn't showed. But from what they showed, I think Julia said just as much as Aurora.
She probably did.
But she's not there to blame.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yep. She's gone.
But they're just like, you know, Aurora spilled the beans on everything, and you know, and Julia was the victim, and I'm just like, you know, I saw plenty. Like, I'm sitting there watching, and she's like, you're saying too much. You know, Julia's stating that to Aurora, but she follows that by going, and we're getting, and you're the one going home, David, and this is how it's going. I mean, like, I think Julia said lots.
Right. Oh, she did. She did. She did.
So, I mean, she might have been restating what Aurora said,
right.
But you know, but as a viewer, I saw Julia say it, like, reveal all there was to be revealed.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So we see then War Dog. He's wanting to make a 6-person alliance. So we're looking at War Dog, Ron Clark, Gavin, Kelly Wentworth, Julie, and Lauren. I actually, for this episode, dude, I am liking War Dog more and more and more.
I know.
Okay, I think
I agree.
The dude is smart. I think he's playing a good game, dude. And War Dog,
he's playing a great game. He like honestly, when the season started, I'm mad at him for not being the character that he professed to be on his pre stuff and his and on Twitter and all that stuff. And honestly, that was actually smart for him not to be this over the top character that he's kind of morphing into. That's really him, because I think he would have made himself an early target if he had.
I agree. I was thinking, we've talked about this before, we're thinking War Dog's going to be Tony Vlachos 2.0.
Yeah.
And Spy Shack Central, kind of somewhat douchey. War Dog, I don't know if you noticed this, dude, but one takeaway that I have is when tribal council's going on, you're tired and you're deprived of food and everything else, right? It's a crazy game. But War Dog, if you look in his eyes, he's completely, you can tell that dude is thinking about the game, and he's like stroking his beard. He's just kind of going like this with his beard the whole time, listening to what everything's going on, taking in all this information. And I think he's really processing it and playing one of the smartest games out there.
Calmly reacting.
Yes. He's not. He is calm, and so
at tribal.
Yes.
Like you know, he gets like he's kind of fair play-esque.
Yep, dude. I'm just gonna come out right and say it. Right now, I think War Dog. Now it could change next week, but War Dog is playing a brilliant game right now. I really do think. Now he sucks at challenges.
He does. That makes me so happy.
But I mean,
it's also fair play-esque.
Yeah. Yes. True. Oh my God, dude.
Who knew? The reason I hate war, I just hate myself.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'll talk to my psychiatrist about all of this. So, like, you know, it's me without hair.
Yeah.
I take pills at forhims.com/fair.
Yes. So we see this, you know, it's a new 6-person alliance, and everyone seems on board with the easy vote if it goes down to take out Aurora next. Like, it's like the obvious at that point. Like, let's get out Aurora. Aurora is obviously a loose cannon, as we saw at the live tribal. in addition to that, she is a beast at challenges. I mean, that chick is like solid muscle, dude. Like,
she's solid muscle. But here's the big thing with her. So she mentions during her confessional, she grew up in foster care. Mm-hmm. Now, to grow up in foster care, put yourself through college and become a lawyer, that's insanely impressive.
It is.
I mean, like, I dated Tanya from the real world who grew up in foster care, and she grew up to be a mess.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Like,
yeah.
So I don't even know where she is on the planet right now. You know, I know, like if you do a Google search for, you know, Aurora lawyer, Florida, pretty sure you can find Aurora.
Mm-hmm. Right. But yeah, I hear you, dude. Aurora, you know, they kind of, you see her in a confessional and she's crying. She's emotional because she's like, dude, everyone else is out strategizing and taking walks and they're not including me in any of it. So at this point, she's thinking, dude, like, I am at the bottom. If something miraculous doesn't happen, I could be the one that goes home next. And after this, we go right to the first immunity challenge of this episode. You basically have to hold these bars up in a squatting position, right? So
yes.
if you move up too much, you drop something, and if you move down too much, you drop something into the fire, and you're out of the
base cracks and it has water, blah blah blah. But real quick, I'm watching this and I'm thinking about, like, you know, saying the squatty position. Do you have a squatty potty?
No, I don't have a squatty potty. I do have a what's it called? A Little John. It's like it looks like a red plastic bottle that you can just pee in when you're going on road trips. I do not have a squatty potty.
Do you know what a squatty potty is?
Yes, because it you put it down by your toilet and it makes your feet go up or something like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to put you in a better. I don't have like I'm kind of I kind of want one because I'm fascinated by it, but I don't have I have I'm a good pooper. I have no problems.
No, me neither. Me neither.
But doesn't the idea of like making poops better, like, doesn't that appeal to you in some way?
Yeah, I guess it does.
Maybe we need to reach out to Squat. I mean, like, I don't even know if they still make.
They make them because at my work there was a Secret Santa, and one of the gifts I saw was a squatty potty, and that's the first time I ever saw one, which was back in December.
I think we need Squatty Potty as a sponsor.
Yeah, that would be great. So one thing about this challenge, if you choose to not partake in the challenge, you can get a mountain of pizza, root beer, and beer if you want to drink beer, or root beer for the non-beer drinkers.
Yeah, I tweeted Jeff Probst tonight.
You did?
I did. I said, hey, Jeff Probst, I just wanted to say thank you for having root beer as an option for those that don't drink beer.
Right.
However, on season 42, I would like ginger beer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, just like I have to admit that tweet was twofold. It was one, I'm not a huge root beer guy, so I would prefer ginger beer, and I think it's refreshing, you know, as well. Right. And number two, that means put me on 42.
Yeah, of course it does. Of course.
Like the subliminal message there.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll be doing a new shirt, you know, hashtag Fairplay for 40, but with the 40 with a line through it and a 42 drawn above it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So look for that at JonnyFairplay.com. And also coming up, should be hopefully by the end of the week, we're gonna have a F the Winners shirt. And I think you guys will like that one. I don't know what that's in regards to whatsoever. But if you'd like a hint to what that's about, sign up for a Patreon. It's patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. And this Friday on our Q&A, we'll be dropping part 1 of our season 40 cast predictions for a winter season. If the rumor and innuendo is true, we do our first 5 men picks and first 5 women picks from each of us, and explain why we picked those people. And part 1 of that drops this Friday morning. So go ahead and sign up now. And so first thing Friday morning when you wake up, it'll be sitting there for you to watch. and or listen if you're a Patreon. So that's patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. Once again, we're here. This is show 100 because of all of you guys' support. And the best and easiest way to support the show is becoming a patron at patreon.com/Survivor NSFW.
So Lauren, Victoria, Wentworth, and Ron sit out.
Yeah.
And they're feasting.
Well, all right, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, why is War Dog not sitting down? I'm not because he should feel safe in the game, but he should. But more importantly, he is dog shit at challenges, right, and this looked like it might be his worst. I'm just looking at him. I'm just like, he doesn't look. And
the butterfly lands on him. Well,
before the butterfly, he still doesn't look good before the butterfly. But then God intervenes and sends a butterfly to add insult to injury. I looked up and said a little thank you to God. I was just like, thank you for making War Dog look like an extra idiot tonight.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Your War Dog Sucks Eggs t-shirt is available at JonnyFairplay.com.
Hell yeah. Well, I think, dude, even if War Dog knows he's going to be the first out of the challenge, which he probably, at this point, he's got to realize that he's not good in any challenge at all. But I think it's a strategic move. Like, even if he knows, because, dude, I would never, ever sit out of a challenge.
Yeah, period. My girlfriend was just like, doesn't the jury hate you for sitting out of a challenge? I'm just like, they do, but they kind of forget about it. So like they hate you then. But like I say 2 days later, people don't think about it. And like, I see Lauren sitting there. I'm just like, okay, this girl can't eat. She can't eat the rice. I'm not going to personally resent her for sitting out on this.
Right. Yeah.
So and I'm just like, hey, if you want to fucking make yourself a possible victim of a vote or even more so a blindside, feel free to eliminate yourself from the competition.
Yeah,
that's not a problem.
Right. So we see it. People start dropping like flies. Obviously, War Dog is the first out with the butterfly and all that kind of stuff. And then Devins at one point starts talking during the challenge, doing his little Anchorman stuff. And
that's just in.
Yeah, and everyone's like, why is he talking? He ends up dropping. It's a battle between David and Aurora. And
by the way, his name is Rick Devins.
Yeah, it is Rick Devins. I'm sorry.
I you know what? This is the first night that I actually wrote in my notes.
You wrote Rick Devins.
I have Devins. They've converted. I mean, I don't know how we got to this point.
Yeah.
But apparently he's no longer, even in my notes, he's no longer Rick Devins.
Right. Well, Devins drops out, David and Aurora wins. And it's funny, dude, because doesn't it seem like the person that is literally most likely to go home and everyone's got their plan, Aurora potentially, they fucking always win immunity, dude.
Yeah, but I think it's their will. I don't think it's because I don't think there's chicanery. I don't think like someone tightened the bolt on there.
No, I don't either. It's just crazy that's how it all. That's happened time and time again, dude. The person that's on the chopping block, now we're all gonna vote, and bam, they win. You know what I'm saying?
But there's also there are the survivor gods. That is a real thing. Fate does intervene. Sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. Mostly for I don't know. Where do you fall on that? You think the survivor gods help more than they hurt?
I think it depends on the situation, man. I mean, it's
50-50 then?
Yeah, I'd say 50-50 because there's some survivor gods tonight that were not pulling their weight on stuff that happens, later in this episode. So we see the Alliance of Six, this new one, the war. I don't know what we call it. There's no names. That's the difference between this and
Big Brother.
Or last season with the Mason-Dixon Alliance and the different things.
Nick stole that from Big Brother.
I know he did, but you would think that maybe there might be some sort of alliance.
Well, they hadn't watched that season.
Yeah, but Philip Shepard and different people
and people hate that.
Had always
no.
Nick Wilson's not the first person that's made up an alliance name.
Yeah, but there's been in the history of Survivor, there's been much less alliance nicknames versus Big Brother is like, that's the thing that is a thing about Big Brother.
Right.
There's alliance names,
right?
So there have been, like I named me and Burton the Legion of Doom, and I get douche chills thinking about the fact that I named me and Burton the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, that's.
I think
funny.
Burton punches me when I say it to him.
When you say it, that's hilarious.
and Burton hurts when he punches you.
I'm sure it does.
So like Burton used to start hey fucker, and just hit me. I'm like, stop hitting me.
Yeah.
You're strong.
Yeah, dude. So the Alliance of Six, they're talking about like, dude, let's fit out David. David is smart, returning players that go far into the game. You got to get him out, and I think that is a smart move. But then we see David wanting to get War Dog out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, War Dog proclaims that David is his nemesis, and I like that. I think a good villain has his arch enemy. With me on Pearl Islands is Rupert. I'm just like, that is my enemy. This is my life goal, is to destroy Rupert. Much like Lex Luthor, I must destroy Superman. Mm-hmm. The Joker must destroy the Batman.
Right. Yep.
So I once again, I wanted this over the top character from the War Dog, and this is a guy like calling out his enemy and laying a line, drawing the line in the sand. I like this. This is good television.
It is. And after that's kind of going back and forth, we see David, Julie, and Devins talking about War Dog and like possibly what to do. Like Julie's nervous about this whole deal. I think she's just nervous in general because you've seen kind of her on her emotional breaking point at that last live tribal. You know what I mean? Like she's away from her family, and like her and Ron are kind of these two people that are in the middle and can go either way, which could be a really good thing in the game of Survivor. So I think honestly, man, like the fact of voting out David, versus anyone else at this point, knowing that David, had played his idol last tribal, unless he found some other idol, dude, I think the smart move at this point is to get out David Wright.
Yeah. I do appreciate David pitching the strategy of, I've played the game of Survivor before. I know the game of Survivor. You as current castaways, but previous fans, he goes, let me tell you how this works. When you go home, there will always be that one conversation that if you think back after it's all over, that could have been the difference. Mm-hmm. And this is coming from a guy that's played the game, not you that doesn't know. Mm-hmm. Believe you me, this is that conversation. And I'm just like, that's a hell of a pitch, brother.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like think back to fans versus favorites. Say you're sitting there and you have a Corinne or a Malcolm or a Don. Like if they had that conversation with you, you're just like, well, shit.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, right. Oh shit, yeah, dude.
What a fucking salesman. What else you got?
There were some great one-liners and some great analogies, dude. I was telling my wife, I was like, this is why they cast who they cast on Survivor typically, because if you can talk good, give a good confessional, give really
great
awesome
storyteller.
Yeah, great storytellers. Man, there were some good one-liners and stuff and just speech kind of things tonight. So, we Ron and Julie are super tight, obviously, and they have a big decision to make.
Yeah, and Ron states that he thinks War Dog could win the game, and I'm just like, where the fuck did this happen?
I know.
I got a fucking Sucks Eggs t-shirt, and they're talking about this guy could win?
Well, dude, I mean, after tonight, he's got the MVP award for tonight's episode, if you ask me, man. So we go right in to Tribal Council number 1. And, Rick Devins starts talking about, at this point, he's playing a loyal game. Like, that's his kind of pitch to everybody. Like after all that's happened right now, you know, when I got voted out and sent to Edge of Extinction, it's because I went back on my word about something that was going on in the game, and that got me voted out. So from now on, I'm playing the loyal game. Do you think he's being truthful in that statement or not?
I honestly looked at it as jury management. I think tonight, if Rick Devens goes on to win Survivor Edge of Extinction, I think tonight's episode is the reason. I think you have that jury management throwaway line that they all call, and he's just like, hey, I backstabbed Chris. It came back. It bit me in the butt. I'm out next. But also remember how I got back here. I beat you guys over there. I was one of you. That now consists of the jury. So don't forget that.
Yeah.
But now I'm back in, I learned from I've repented for my sins, and I'm making a new. And as a new, I'm playing an honest game, someone that you can reward $1 million at the end. So you have that, and then fast forward to later this episode, another big thing to put on, even though I hate the word, the Survivor resume, especially the winner resume. I think this was a great episode for Rick Devens.
Yeah, I do too. But thinking about it, dude, if he comes back in I like Rick Devens. Because we've talked about, we liked Rick Devens at the beginning of the season. Then after he got back from Edge of Extinction, he became this different Rick Devens, which we were not too fond of. Now we're getting more excited about Rick Devens.
Well, we liked him when he won his way back. I mean, that was a hero edit,
right? Yes.
But then he turned into a dick for about 45 minutes, and
right.
then he's back to good again.
So it's funny because Julie, we see her at Tribal Council. I think Julie's smart. She's wanting to make big moves on her own in this game, and then I love seeing Devens. At this point, people are calling out people at Tribal, dude. Like they're not being scared. Sometimes people don't do this, but Devens starts calling out people, kind of making a good pitch, for himself. And then War Dog comes back, and War Dog completely calls out David, dude, in a big way.
Huge.
In front of everybody. And I was like, props to War Dog, dude, that you have the
He's
balls.
like, you're just squirrely dude, man. It's like, you talk about an honest game, you're not, and Lauren is quick on the draw. She's like, you wrote down my name. You told me I wasn't going to write your name down. You wrote your name, like, stop it. But for the record, I think David does play a pretty, in the grand scheme of things, he's more loyal than he is unloyal.
David Wright? Oh, yeah. I like David. Like, out of all the returnees, David Wright has been my favorite player to watch this season.
I'm not saying likable wise. But likability wise, I think I think everyone thinks he's likable.
Yeah.
But on the honorable, I think he's more honorable than dishonest for the most part. Mm-hmm. I mean, as I said, it's Survivor. I mean, it's tough to fucking play a 100% loyal game.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So, but no, I think War Dog picked the right time to attack, using the throwing out the word squirrely to describe a guy. When it's time to vote, it's just like, whoa, it's one of those words that people it's a visceral word. You're just like, ooh, you know what? I see that. I feel that. You know what? I'm in on that.
Right.
So I kudos to War Dog right there. I think he picked the right time. I think the decision was already made, but that solidified it. I think this is a good Tribal Council. I'm shocked. I mean, if you tell me at the beginning of the season there's gonna be an episode where it's War Dog versus David, mano a mano, and War Dog wins, I'm like, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of Survivor. So David Wright goes home, but he picks up the torch and immediately makes his way back to Edge of Extinction. But Jonny, I got my iPhone right here. I've been having to search for some new apps and stuff and remove some old apps. But there is an app that I want you to tell our listeners about. and it is called Robinhood.
Well, Robinhood's an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos all commission free. While other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all your profits. Plus, there is no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing in any level. The simple and intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. I did it today, Matt Bischoff.
That's awesome.
Dude, I sat there. I was like, hey, I want to get this stock. This is going to be a good stock. It was a good stock. Today was a very good day. I am very happy. Listen, you can view stock collections such as 100 most popular. Look, with Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements, as I did today, so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving our listeners a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help build your portfolio. Sign up right now at fairest.robinhood.com. That's FAIREST.robinhood.com and get a free stock. Do it right now.
That is sick. And all I know is I'm sick of damn Edge of Extinction almost. But we do see David going to Edge of Extinction. It's day 26. And we see Joe coming in looking like Jack Sparrow with 7 bottles.
You know what? I'm gonna differ with you on this. Like, he did have the pirate look going. I think he's morphed into Lexi from Steel Panther. You know, the effeminate bass player. I'll post. I'll throw it up on my Twitter at Jonny Fairplay. I purposely took a picture of Joe tonight, and I also got multiple shots of War Dog with the butterfly. Don't worry, I will be having some fun with that.
That's awesome. Well, shout out to Joe and Sierra. I've never met Joe. I love Sierra. And they're engaged, so congrats, props to you guys.
I say horrible things about Joe. I dislike Joe as a player. I've only heard great things about Sierra. I've only heard very good things about Joe. Congratulations. Outside of the game, I'm sure they're both extremely wonderful people, and congrats. Good luck.
Right. Hell yeah. So we see the 7 bottles of 7 clues. David is ready to go because David says, man, I'm still in game mode. All these other people are kind of chilling out, whatever. And
I wouldn't use the word chill. Miserable.
Yeah. But there's an advantage. And, you see Chris and Joe trying to figure it out, and they think it might be at the mast where you would, Edge of Extinction, pirate ship mast. But David ends up finding the advantage, and the advantage is he can.
Well, hold on. The clue was hollow, jagged, and smooth, and David goes, "It's obviously the rocks." David, you are correct. I too would assume that it was obviously the rocks.
Right, and he ends up finding it, and it's cool because he can give this advantage to someone in the game currently, which would put David in a nice guy role to do that.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm seeing when it's going down, like, number one, I was glad that Joe didn't get it. But then when I saw that it was, just something that you can give to someone else in the game and not something to help you get back in the game, I was just like, I don't really care.
No, I agree. I was thinking, dude, David's got to be bummed. David's ahead have been like, dude, I'm so psyched I found it. Yes. Oh my God. And then it's like, yeah. So I thought it was.
And I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I think it's no secret that Devins likes David. I mean, like he already had. So if you're using it to earn goodwill with someone in the don't you already have Devins' goodwill?
Yes, you do. You give it to someone else, but whatever. So
I mean, does he think he's gonna lose Devin? I mean, I don't know. I thought that I mean, I guess it shows loyalty in that it's just like, hey, like that's my guy. That was my guy.
Right.
He's still my guy. I'm not bending. I'm not wavering.
Yeah.
But I guess with David's a, to throw out the term again, salesman. He is a good salesman. So maybe he sells that story. I pitched loyalty during that tribal that I got voted out. Once again, I'm following up. I am a loyal guy. I'm showing it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So we go to the immunity challenge, and Devin stands up and says, hey, I have an advantage that David obviously gave to Devin's. And this is pretty...
Did you recognize the location?
No.
That was that was the platform where Nick won his final immunity on David versus Goliath.
Oh, they use the same one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a different challenge, but that was the deck.
The deck. Yeah. They build some crazy structures. So you have these big giant paddle deals, and they have little dimples. You got to put a ball, and you got to get 5 balls on these little dimple things, right?
But balls on dimples challenge is a typical Saturday night for me. That's 1 a.m. Jonny Fairplay.
Oh, that's awesome. So the advantage is everyone's got to get 5 balls on the dimples. Devin's has to get 4, which actually proves to be a big advantage in this challenge because
I tried for 2.
There's a learning curve. What's that? You're hilarious. It looks hard, but it looks fun.
Once again, the same words are said.
God, I can't get out of it, can I?
That too.
Oh God, that's awesome. I just need to shut
go
up.
All night. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So Devin's
That's never said we could go all night.
Oh, dude.
It ends there.
But Devin's actually, comes close to winning several times.
But the trick was you don't want your ball in the middle dimple. Mm-hmm. And I say that it's time for Matt to spin his beer.
Oh, dude, shit. Devins ends up winning immunity, which,
as I said earlier, if Rick Devins wins Survivor Edge of Extinction, I think this episode is a huge reason why.
Yeah.
So this immunity win right here, immunities do count. People that you get credit for immunity wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and as I said earlier, almost addressing the jury directly with, I played a backhanded game. I'm not anymore. I apologize. I learned my lesson. Just huge episode for Rick Devins.
It was, and we see War Dog after this, saying, let's get Aurora out. It's the easy vote, but secretly, War Dog wants to get out Wentworth. So he starts talking with all these people, and we show him, it kind of shows like earlier in the day, and War Dog's kind of doing his strategy. And then he talks with Ron, and Ron kind of doesn't seem 100% down. Now, I don't know if that was just like an edit for TV and he really was down, but at the time, he doesn't really seem down with this deal.
Ron makes really weird faces, I think, when he's lying.
Really?
Yeah, because when he was talking to Joe, he made really weird faces. And when he was talking about sticking with Aurora, I think there was some weird face. So I think Ron might have a tell in that he makes really, really weird faces when he's lying.
I'll have to take note of that. So we know Aurora has this extra vote, right? So she starts talking to Ron about, hey, I got this extra vote, and she actually gives Ron that advantage to kind of hold on to. And Ron.
That made no sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Well, use your extra vote to swing the game in your favor.
Yeah, I don't get it because Ron's kind of like, well, shit. I can totally screw her over and vote her out and keep her damn advantage.
And I get the vote.
No one knows about it. Yeah.
So going back like half a scene, I hate to do it because it's the fucking War Dog, but he knows the game. When he's making his pitch to Ron Clark, he talks coach, He talks fans versus favorites.
Mm-hmm.
He talks Boston Rob. He goes, hey, if a returning player in any way gets anywhere near that final 3, they fucking win the game.
Yeah, he even refers to Cochran, which he watches my season. But if you watch the end of this podcast, when we have a little message from War Dog about our 100th episode, he kind of gives a little freaking roast to yourself and me, which I think is fucking hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
Shout out to War Dog. I love it. I actually love it. I was fucking laughing. So be sure to watch, if you're listening this far, don't go anywhere to hear the fun messages from dudes like Fabio and Sex Dr. Mike and all kinds. So, Ron he talks about being in the middle, and he's got a big decision to make because he really can turn the game one way or the other. And honestly, going into this tribal, I'm like, dude, Wentworth is the smart vote.
I think
this
season started. I'm just like, if your first 4 people that you send home are not the first 4 returnees, you're dumb.
Right. Yeah, I know. So they actually tonight
go back and watch any season in which the returning players have any advantage whatsoever. All they do is eliminate newbies.
Yeah. Right. So this is night 27, second tribal council of this episode. Jeff kind of makes a comment like, dude, it's bizarre that this is like, 27 days in the game and only 1 idol has been played.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
yeah, hey, Kelly, hint.
That's what I was thinking, dude. I was thinking, dude, that's a subtle hint to play your damn idol to make her think Paranoia Central and to play it.
But no one played into. I mean, you had Julie, who was not in on the plan, going, listen, now's the time to sit back, do nothing. I'm like, so I think people like Julie who weren't aware of the move really helped the blind side take place. My favorite was just the open discussion of the bloodlust of a blind side. I mean, my personal belief is that bloodlust is almost insatiable. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can honestly say that I love or have loved blindsiding someone in the game of Survivor more than anything I've done in my entire life ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like when I sent fucking Rupert home, my dick was hard. Like, I have never been so fucking happy to fucking, it just feels so good. And I'm an evil person. Just imagine a good person that it's like in the horror movie, when the vampire bites the good person, they're just like, ooh, once you get that taste of blood, you just it's true. Mm-hmm. Like that it's insatiable. It is bloodlust is the perfect term to describe that feeling.
Well, all I know is tonight was very smart on the new players front, getting out David Wright and Kelly Wentworth. Bam.
Great episode. That alone
Extinction.
Makes this the best episode of the season.
Yes. It was good, man. And War Dog gets the MVP of the season. I'm sure Fishback will give him the Fishy Award because
the episode, not the season.
I mean, I'm sorry, of the episode because, dude, War Dog from the beginning to the end of the episode was badass, and I would love to go back and listen to some of the cuts from the beginning of Edge of Extinction, showing your hatred toward War Dog. And then now showing you actually agreeing with some of the shit that I'm saying.
I still hate him. I do want to mention this before we end the tribal council. We see the first vote is by Julie, mm-hmm. and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I think Julie's out of the loop. And when we're told by Ron earlier that Julie's his ride or die.
Yes, he did say that. Yep.
But I think he knew that the easy move was forgiveness rather than permission on this move.
Yep. which is, I think, very smart on his part.
I agree. I mean, because she has no other options but to go back to. I mean, well, she has any option in the world, but he didn't do it to spite her. He did it for them collectively.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah.
And I think her attempting to act her way to saying everything's cool versus her thinking everything's cool is a difference between Kelly Wentworth playing that idol and not playing that idol. So kudos to Ron for making that executive decision to leave her out of the loop on this one and then do damage control when you get back.
Right on. Yeah, we're going to see next week probably some the chaos is really going to start to happen because, we didn't really see a lot from, it's funny because I think Gavin's a decent player, and you get to hang out with Gavin. We're not seeing a ton of Gavin as far as confessionals and airtime go.
No.
And Victoria, we saw earlier in the season that she's smart, and I would be bummed funny. if I was her as far as my airtime.
Yeah, she was so funny, and I mean, like she reminds me of like a Courtney.
Mm-hmm. Courtney
Yates from Survivor China, and just zero airtime, and so cute. I mean, like you have Lauren who's beautiful. We talked about her before the episode last week. It's just like, she had posted that picture on Instagram, and you're just like, God, she looks like a goddess. And I'm just like, yeah, and she got her eyebrows done. They don't look like caterpillars just hanging out on her forehead like they did on Edge of Extinction.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm watching. When they're sitting on the challenge, I'm looking over there, and you got Lauren who as you said, God is just so beautiful. But yeah, I'm sitting there looking beside her, and you got Victoria with the one eye squinting, and I'm just like, this might be the cutest girl on the planet. Like I don't think there's anything cuter than a squinting Victoria. So there's some really I really wish this season didn't have the taint of the Edge of Extinction on it, but there's some really, really fun characters, War Dog included.
Oh yeah, well now if I knew how to do sound bites, I could use the word War Dog and taint that you just said in a little little thing. But listen, everybody, dude, Jonny Fairplay, happy 100th, brother.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is crazy. This is great. I mean, like in the grand scheme, I mean, like we had Survivor Castaways reach out to us all day long, sending us happy 100 videos. So here's what happens now. We're going to wrap up the podcast, but when we finish, you'll hear all of these happy 100s. A lot of them said, hey, this is Carl the Godfather from David vs. Goliath, and happy 100, and followed by a funny little thing. Many survivors wished us a happy 100 today. If you would like to watch the video of these messages, it's available for free at patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. That's patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. While you're there, snoop around. And the best way to support the podcast, the best way to ensure that we do another 100 episodes, just do the $5 entry level deal. It's $5 a month. It's like a tip in the tip jar, and you get the video version of the weekly Wednesday show that we do every week, and then it's a thanks. So if you bump it up to $10, you get the Castaway watch along, the Q&A, which as I said, you want to hear this Friday's episode. It is part 1 of our season 40 all winners cast predictions episode. We each name 5 guys, 5 girls this week. Next week will be part 2. For $10, you get all that video and audio content of all these additional podcasts. We're starting coverage of the Amazing Race tomorrow, and then in May, right after the finale of or the same week as the finale of Survivor Edge of Extinction, we're covering the Bachelorette. I mean, we're in uncharted territory. We are entering the edge of extinction, covering the Bachelorette.
We are.
So it's gonna be crazy. Thank you so much. But as I said, listen here after Matt says goodbye. But to watch, go to patreon.com/Survivor NSFW and see for free.
Right on. Well, thank you guys very much. We will see you guys next time for another episode of Survivor NSFW. Cheers,
from
everyone.
Nashville.
Yeah, buddy.
Get tickets, survivorafterhours.com.
You.
Hey, Jonny, Leslie Neese from Survivor China. Excited that you're celebrating 100 episodes. Congratulations. And Matt, I haven't met you, but I can't wait. I'm sure we'll meet one day, and I've heard you're pretty awesome. So I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun when we do meet. I want to say thank you, Jonny, for being the only survivor to invite me to their podcast. Nobody else seems to care what I have to say, so it means a lot that you cared enough to have me on the show. And actually, it was probably one of my favorite things I've ever done. You're a great interviewer, and to be honest, though, I can't believe you've lasted 100 episodes. Way to go, dude.
Hats off to Jonny and Matt on their 100th episode of their Survivor podcast, NSFW. Anyways, to celebrate, I thought maybe I'd grab my pot of rice and see if there's anything inside of it. Let's see. Did I find possible immunity idol? I don't know. Anyways, it's going to be a great podcast tonight. I hope everybody listens and have a great 100th episode. Jonny and Matt, love you guys.
Hey, this is Sunday from Millennials vs. Gen X, and I just wanted to say congrats to you, Jonny and Matt, on your 100th episode of Survivor NFSW, which I kind of don't think I've ever been on. Who would think I'd have so much in common with you, Jonny Fairplay? Matt, understandable. You, Jonny, I don't know, but I like it, and I love you both. Congrats.
Hey, this is Billy Garcia from Survivor Cook Islands. And I want to congratulate Jonny Fairplay and Matt Bischoff for their 100th episode of Survivor NSFW. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. You're totally kicking ass. Congratulations, brothers.
Hey Jonny, congratulations on 100 episodes. I wonder if you can still work.
John, Matt, congratulations. It's Dr. Mike from season 35. You're doing a great job. I'm proud of you guys, and thanks for helping the community.
So hell has officially froze over. No, me, Jonny, or Matt weren't cast, I don't think, for the next Survivor. But it is the 100th episode podcast of Survivor NSFW. P? No, there's not a P in it. No, that was John Carroll. This is Kobe Archa from Survivor Palau, and I'm here to wishing those guys the best of times and the worst of times.
Well, since I did the first video vertical, figured I'd do it again. Jonny, Matt, congratulations from the Hot Cop for making it 100th episode on NSFW. Way to freaking go, guys. Hot Cop out.
Hey, what's up, man? It's your boy, the Godfather Carl from Survivor Season 37, David versus Goliath. I had to stop and take the time to wish Jonny Fairplay, my boy, my other boy, Matt Bischoff, on a happy 100 NSFW podcast. Congrats to you boys. Matt, got another beer for us. Jonny, just stick to your ginger beer. Everything will be fine. But anyways, good going, guys. Keep up the good work.
What's good, baby? What's good, Jonny? Congrats on 100 episodes. I'm just at work taking a shit, and I realized, yo, Jonny has passed 10 episodes. Ain't that some shit? So congrats to you and Matt. I mean, even though Matt's like your third co-host, Matt, if I was you, I'd be concerned. You probably got a couple more episodes, and he's going to find another co-host. So keep doing your thing. I'm a fan, and keep doing your thing, man.
100th episode of NSFW? Damn. Jonny, you should come back and play Survivor a second time. Oh, wait, he did. And Matt, thanks to Survivor Wiki, I found out you actually play Survivor too. Isn't that crazy? Congrats, gentlemen.